On Station Halcyon, far above a quiet blue planet, life moved in slow and careful rhythm. Ships came and went. Lights blinked along the docking bays. Hundreds of species lived and worked there, some with feathers, some with fur, some with scales. That shimmered in light, Alex was human, just a technician. He worked alone most of the time, fixing broken systems, patching up wires, running diagnostics. He liked the quiet. But more than anything, he liked his time with her. Kara, she was Zellery. Tall, graceful, skin the color of ocean ice. Her voice always calm, her words careful, her eyes bright with questions. She was different from the others, kind but strong, curious but quiet. And for Alex, she was the most beautiful being he had ever met. They met 2 years ago when the gravity system on the ambassador deck failed. Kara had been stuck inside her family's private quarters, and Alex had to crawl through a vent to get in and release the lock. She didn't scream, didn't panic. She just looked at him and said, "You're smaller than I expected." Smiled then. And since that day, they had found ways to meet again and again. Sometimes she'd visit him in the service tunnels just to talk. Sometimes she'd bring strange alien snacks and they'd sit on metal crates, sharing food and stories. He told her about earth trees, oceans, rain. She told him about Zellery cities floating in the sky, built on sound waves and light. They were close. Everyone on the station noticed. Some called them the human in his shadow. But Alex never said what he really felt. He laughed at her jokes. He helped her fix small tools. He listened when she spoke about her people and their future. But inside, his heart always ached. He was in love, deep, silent, honest love, but he kept it hidden. Humans and Zellery were too different, he told himself. She came from a noble family. He was just a tech. Her people had complex rituals about bonding and emotions. His people were simple. Speak your heart, accept what comes. He watched her sometimes from the shadows, not in a strange way, just quietly. Like when she helped a lost child in the market sector, or when she argued with a stubborn vendor over prices, her voice sharp. But fair. Everything she did made him fall more. But he stayed quiet. Kana never pushed him to speak. She was calm, steady, always kind. But sometimes when they were alone, she'd look at him just a bit too long. Her words would slow. Her fingers would brush his hand, then pull away. He always wondered, did she feel it too? One evening, the lights on Deck 12 flickered badly. Alex was called to fix the issue. Kara, as always, found him near the service core.
Ow.
Him a drink in a glowing blue cup. "You work too much," she said softly. "Someone has to keep this place from falling apart," he joked. They sat together, leaning against a warm pipe. Silence sat between them. Not uncomfortable, just heavy. "Alex," she said slowly. "Why did you come here? To space, I mean?" He thought for a moment. "I guess I wanted to see more than Earth, to meet others, to feel small but useful, and maybe to find something worth staying for." Kara looked at him, her gaze sharp, searching. "And have you?" He smiled, but looked away. "I think so." She didn't ask more. Days passed, then weeks. Alex grew tired of hiding his feelings. Every moment with her felt like both a gift and a weight. He didn't want to ruin what they had, but the silence was worse. He started recording a message, not to send it, just to say the words out loud. "Kara," he spoke into his old recorder. "I've loved you since the second month we met. I've tried to hide it. I thought maybe it wasn't right. Maybe you'd laugh or feel sorry, but I'm tired of pretending. Just wanted you to know." He listened to the message once, then deleted it. But the words stayed in his heart. Station Halcyon prepared for an event soon. A group of diplomats were coming. There was going to be music, lights, and speeches. Kara invited Alex to join, but he said no. Too many people. Too much noise. Instead, he stayed behind, working on a faulty relay near the outer ring. While outside, his tether cable glitched. He was nearly pulled into space. Alarms went off. He fought to stay connected. His comms dropped. For a few long minutes, no one heard from him. The station panicked. Kara froze in place when she heard his name over the alert system. Human technician Alex, status unknown. Life signs unstable. Her heart jumped. She dropped the ceremonial robe she was supposed to wear. Without asking, she ran toward the control deck. She demanded access to the feeds. She searched every screen. Alex floated in the dark, gripping the side of the relay. Oxygen low, vision fading, but he smiled. He had saved the station power grid. The lights were back on. He whispered one last thing, thinking he wouldn't be heard. "I love you, Kara. Always did." His voice reached no one. But something in the station changed that night. So did something in Kara. Darkness floated around Alex as he drifted slowly above the station's outer ring. His oxygen was running low. His hands were numb. The stars looked peaceful, but his heart beat fast. Even in this moment, when everything felt cold and distant, all he could think about was her, Kair. He thought of her voice, her laughter, her eyes that always looked deeper than anyone else's. If this was his last moment, he didn't want fear, wanted truth. So he whispered the words he had buried inside for so long. "I love you, Kara. Always did." His voice barely reached his helmet mic. He didn't know if the comms were working again, but it didn't matter. He had finally said it, even if no one heard it. On Station Halcyon, alarms continued to flash. The team scrambled. To send out a drone to bring Alex back, engineers shouted into headsets. Pressure dropped across a few decks. But through it all, one person stood completely still. Karashi stared at the screen where Alex's last signal blinked weakly. Her hands shook, but her face stayed calm. People around her tried to talk to her, but she ignored them. Her mind was focused only on one thing: getting him back. "Launch the emergency rescue pod," she said firmly. "You don't have the rank to do it," she snapped. Her voice was like cold glass, strong, clear, not to be questioned. Minutes later, a pod was sent, spun through space like a silver dart, heading toward the last place Alex's signal had come from. Silence fell across the control room. Everyone waited then. At last, the voice of the drone pilot came through. "We have him. Alive. Low oxygen. Unconscious. Bringing him back now." A breath escaped Kara's lips. As she sat down slowly, her body shaking, she covered her face with her hands. She didn't cry, but she was close. When Alex was brought back inside, medics rushed him to the care bay. Tubes, scanners, and soft blue lights surrounded him. He was stable, but unconscious. His vitals were weak, but steady. Kara stayed outside the med bay, not moving for hours. When the doctor said she could see him, she walked in quietly. He looked pale, like a shadow of himself, but his chest moved. He was alive. She sat beside him and took his hand in both of hers. "You foolish, foolish human," she whispered. "Why do you scare me like this?" The room was quiet. No machines beeped loudly. Just the soft hum of healing equipment then. Her wristband blinked. A personal message. It was from Alex's tool device. Somehow, a short voice log had been recorded and sent to her private channel. She clicked it. His voice played, soft and broken. "I love you, Kara. Always did." She sat frozen. Her eyes widened. Then, after a moment, she let out a soft laugh. It wasn't the laugh of someone making fun. It was warm, emotional, a mix of joy, sadness, and disbelief. "You're late," she said aloud. For a long time she had waited for Alex to say those words. Zellery customs taught that the one who felt love first should stay silent. Love was strongest when both souls met in the middle, neither ahead nor behind. But she had waited and waited, thinking he would never say it. Now here he was, unconscious. And he had finally spoken. She brushed a hand across his forehead. "I wanted to say it first, but I guess we're both stubborn." She stayed by his side every hour. She refused to leave, even when others told her to rest. She watched him breathe. Sometimes she talked to him, telling him about the station, about the other engineers, even about the silly vendor who still tried to sell glowing fish near the water tanks, and every so often she would whisper, "I love you too, Alex. I always did." Days passed. Alex slowly healed. One morning his eyes blinked open. At first he didn't know where he was. Then he turned his head and saw her, Kaira, asleep in a chair, her arms resting on the bed. He smiled weakly. His throat was dry, but he managed to whisper, "You stayed." She stirred and opened her eyes. When she saw him awake, her entire face changed. A smile, real and wide, broke across her face. "Of course I stayed," she said. "Am I dead?" He joked, "No. But you almost made me wish I was, when your signal disappeared." He tried to sit up, but she gently pushed him back. "Easy, you're not fully healed." They sat in silence for a moment, then he looked at her, nervous. "Did you get my message?" She raised an eyebrow. "You mean the one where you finally admitted what I've known for almost a year?" Alex blinked. "You knew?" "Of course," she said. "I'm not blind, Alex, or deaf, or stupid."
I
Groaned and covered his face. "Great. Now I'm the last one to know." She laughed again. "No, you're not, because you finally said it." He looked at her, searching her eyes. "You laughed when you heard it. I was scared you were laughing at me." Her smile softened. "Laughed because you made me wait so long, because I was happy, because I didn't know how to say what I felt." He reached for her hand. "Say it now." Kara took a deep breath. "I love you too, Alex." The moment sat between them. Warm and true. For a long time, they didn't speak. They didn't need to. Alex stayed in the med bay for a few more days. Even though the doctors said he was healing fast, Kara visited him every day. She brought him food from the upper deck, stuff he actually liked, not the bland nutrition packs. She also brought him small gifts, like a worn-out Zalari puzzle cube and a tiny model of the relay he had fixed. They talked more freely now. The wall between them had disappeared. No more hiding. No more guessing. Love had been spoken, clearly, truly. "You." "No," Alex said one evening. "I thought I was dreaming when you said it back." Kara smiled and handed him a warm drink. "You weren't." "I still can't believe it. Then you're slow," she teased gently. "I knew how I felt the moment you stayed with me when my father left for 3 weeks," Alex remembered. It had been a lonely time for her. She had looked strong, but he saw how quiet she had become. He made excuses to visit her every day, even if it was just to fix a lamp or check a fuse. "That long?" he asked. "That long?" she said softly. For a few days, the world felt calm, warm, like nothing could go wrong again. But peace on Station Halcyon never lasted long. One morning, as Alex got ready to return to work, a message blinked across the public screens on every deck. A new group of ambassadors was arriving. And with them Zalari council members, these weren't friendly traders or curious diplomats. These were the old ones, proud, strict, followers of ancient customs. The same people who still believed Zalari and humans should never form deep bonds. Too different, they said. Too risky. Kaira stood in front of the screen reading the list. Her eyes stopped on one name. "Counselor Varys," she whispered. Alex walked up behind her. "Someone important." "My uncle," she said quietly, and one of the strongest voices against human Solari unions. Alex frowned. "What will he do?" "I don't know," Kara said. "But he will not be happy." Sure enough, within hours of their arrival, Varys called for a private meeting. Not just with station leaders, but with Kara as well. She went alone. Leaving Alex behind, inside the council room, Varys sat with 4 other Zalari. Their robes shimmered with formal light patterns that told others their status. Varys looked at her with no warmth. "We received word about your actions during the technician's accident," he said coldly. "I saved his life," Kara answered simply. "You did more than that," another counselor said. "You risked Zalari honor. You stepped into human emotional customs. You have ... bonded." Kara stood tall. "Yes, I have." The room went quiet. Varys' eyes narrowed. "Do you understand what this means?" "I understand that I love Someone who has shown kindness, strength, and bravery. Someone who saved the station even while risking his own life. A human, one of the others spat. Yes, a human, she said firmly. VEHRs leaned forward. You have broken custom. We cannot stop you from feeling what you feel, but we can remove you from this station. Send you home, and this before it grows into something ... dangerous. Kara took a deep breath. Then I will not go home. This station is my home now, and I will not leave him. With that, she turned and walked out. Alex was waiting outside, leaning against the wall. When he saw her face, he stood quickly. How bad was it? She didn't answer right away. She looked tired but calm. They want to send me back to Zelari space. Break us apart. His heart sank. Will you go? She looked at him, then stepped forward and placed her hand gently over his. No, I won't. Kara, you don't. Have to choose? I already did, Alex. He didn't know what to say. Oh, he just held her hand tighter. Word spread quickly across the station. Some supported them. Some whispered in corners. Others warned that Varys wasn't finished. And they were right. 2 days later, Varys filed an official complaint with the Interspecies Harmony Board. He claimed that Kara's bond with a human was influencing station operations and putting the safety of diplomatic missions at risk. Was a lie, of course. But lies, when spoken by powerful voices, can echo loudly. Alex was called to testify, so was Kara. Their private moments were no longer private. Their friendship, their love, was now a topic of public debate. They think I made you weaker, Alex said, frustrated. After one meeting, Kara shook her head. Then they never truly saw me. The station commander, a wise old Garland with silver feathers, called them in. He listened carefully to their side of the story. Then he said something neither expected. You saved this station, not just from failure, but from silence. Your bond, whether others approve or not, has shown that trust between species is possible. They were silent. I can't force the council to change. The commander continued, but I won't let them break you either. That night, Kara and Alex sat by the observation window. The stars outside blinked slowly, like a rhythm only. They understood. I didn't expect all this to happen, Alex said. Neither did I, she whispered. Do you regret it? She looked at him for a long time. Not for a second. They sat close, their shoulders touching, their hands quietly locked. Even with pressure growing around them, even with voices trying to pull them apart, the space between them stayed steady, unbreakable. Tension filled the air across Station Halcyon. The arrival of the Zelari Council had changed everything. What was once just a private bond between two people had now turned into a debate heard across all the decks. Some crew members supported Alex and Kara. He said love between species wasn't a weakness, it was hope. A few even shared their own quiet friendships with aliens they once feared, but others whispered against them. Some didn't trust the Zelari, others didn't trust humans. And some were just afraid that change meant trouble. Alex returned to work, but everything felt different now. Where people once smiled and waved, now many turned away. A few still patted his shoulder and said things like, "Stay strong," or "You two are brave." But the smiles didn't reach their eyes anymore. He didn't care much about what people thought of him, but he cared deeply about what this meant for Kara. She had given up her place among the Zelari elite. She had gone against her own family, all because she chose him. He couldn't let that cost her everything. One evening, while working in the Cums Bay, Alex received a private message. It was marked as urgent and anonymous. He opened it. A short video played. Kara was in a hallway, talking with two unknown Zelari. The angle was low, maybe from a floor camera. The audio was clear. "You must end this," one voice said. "I won't," Kara replied. "You're risking more than you know." "Then let me risk it." The video ended. Alex stared at the screen, jaw tight. Someone was watching her. Someone was trying to threaten her into leaving him. He took the footage straight to Commander Thalix, the silver-feathered Garland who oversaw the station. Alex watched silently, then turned to Alex. "This isn't just about your relationship," he said. "There are some who fear what you two represent. If a human and a Zellery can bond, it breaks old beliefs. Old control. So what do? Alex asked. "We don't hide," Alex said. "We show them what unity looks like." A few hours later, Alex was summoned to the diplomacy chamber. When he entered, he found Kara already there, along with Counselor Varys and other high-ranking leaders from both human and alien delegations. A large screen showed live footage from across the station. The event was being broadcast publicly. "We have brought you both here," Varys said coldly, "so that people may judge the truth for themselves." Alex felt his hands tighten. But Kara reached out and gently touched his fingers under the table. "Tell us, human," Varys said. "Do you truly believe your emotions are enough to understand the ways of other species?" Stood and faced the room. "No, I don't understand everything. I never claimed to. I just know what love feels like. I know it can exist between two different beings. It already has." Some murmurs rose in the crowd. "And you, Kara," Varys said. Turning to her, "You ready to give up your name, your place, your honor? For this human?" Kara stood slowly. Her voice was calm but firm. "I haven't given up my honor. I've redefined it. I'm choose my own path. And I choose Alex." A long silence followed. Then someone stood in the crowd. It was an old human, scientist who had worked on the station for years. She spoke softly. "My husband was Dariak, from the Brellan species. Many said we'd fail. But we built a life. Love isn't limited by shape or planet." Another person stood. Then another. Voices from all sides. Some humans, some aliens. It's telling stories of friendships, respect, even quiet bonds. For the first time, Varys looked uncertain. Commander Thalix spoke next. "This station was built to bring species together, not just in trade or law, but in spirit. If love cannot exist here, then we have already failed." The council meeting ended without a vote. But something had changed. The next day, Kara was offered a new role, not as a council daughter, but as a cultural liaison. She would represent all beings who lived between worlds, not belonging to one, but building bridges between many. Alex was promoted too, not for his relationship, but for his service. For the systems he saved, the disasters he stopped, and the people he helped alien and human. Later that night, Alex and Kara walked together through the observation corridor. The stars above them looked softer somehow, like they were glowing. "Just for them, you were amazing today," he said. "I was terrified," she admitted. "You didn't look it." She smiled, "I think. Maybe love made me brave," he laughed. "And maybe that makes me the bravest man on the station." Stood together, shoulder to shoulder, in silence. Not because there was nothing to say, but because everything had already been said. Life on Station Halcyon slowly returned to normal. But for Alex and Kara, everything felt different. Now, clearer, stronger. Their love was no longer a secret, no longer something hidden between repair work and quiet late-night talks. It was out in the open, and somehow it made them both feel lighter. Kara began her new role as cultural liaison. Her days were now filled with meetings, translations, and helping species understand one another better. She smiled more, not because her work was easy, but because it mattered. Alex worked longer shifts too, now as lead systems engineer. People treated him with more respect, though some still gave curious looks when he walked hand in hand with Kara through the docking corridors. One afternoon, they sat in the garden dome on level 6. The trees there were small, earth-like, and the grass had been grown using human soil samples. They sat beneath a tall light tree, its soft blue leaves humming gently. "Remember when you told me about Earth's rain?" Kara asked, looking up at the artificial sky. "Yeah," Alex said with a smile. "I used to sit on my roof during storms." "I always wanted to feel it," she whispered. "Not the fake kind from the water sim room, but real rain." "Someday," he said, "I'll take you there." "Do you think your people will accept me? They'll love you?" he said without hesitation. "You're smart, kind, and way more graceful than any of us," she laughed. "Graceful? You've seen me trip in the hallway? That was adorable, he teased. But behind the laughter, they both felt something deeper. They weren't just a couple on a space station anymore, because there was something more, a sign of change. The peace didn't last long. 3 days later, an emergency alert echoed through the station. An unknown ship had dropped out of warp near Halcyon, marked no identification and no response to calls. Commander Thalix called a meeting. The ship isn't answering, he said. But it's powerful. If its weapons are charged, we're outgunned. Kara and Alex both stood in the control deck with the others. Data scrolled on every screen. The strange ship just floated outside, silent and still. Any idea who it belongs to? Alex asked. No, Thalix replied. But it doesn't match any known species in this sector. As tension grew, Kara's wristband blinked. A private message. She opened it. Her eyes widened. What is it? Alex asked quickly. It's from Varys, she said slowly. He says the ship belongs to a group that opposes interspecies unity. They may be here to send a message, by force. Everyone went quiet. If they attack, what do we do? Officer asked. We hold the station, Thalix said calmly. And we show them who we are. Alex looked at Kara, bade to prep the defense grid. Can you work the upper relay nodes? I'm with you, she said without hesitation. They rushed together through the maintenance tunnels. Sparks flew from old wires. Alarms blinked above them. This feels like the old days, Kara said, catching her breath. Yeah, except now we're fighting for something bigger, Alex replied. They reached the central defense node. Lex started recalibrating the weapons array. The station had shields, but they weren't strong enough to stop a full assault. We need more power, Kara said, reading the energy levels. I can reroute it from the cargo deck, Alex replied. But I'll need you to bypass the firewall from here. She nodded. Go. I've got this. They split up. As Alex climbed down the lower ladders toward the cargo grid, he thought about all the times he had imagined this moment, fighting beside her, risking everything together. But it wasn't just a dream anymore. This was real. Meanwhile, Kara stayed focused on the system screen. Numbers raced by. Her fingers flew across the panel. Sweat formed on her forehead. Come on, she whispered. Then the ship outside moved. Every screen across the station flashed red. Weapons were charging. Targeting systems locked. Alex shouted into his comms. I need 30 more seconds. Have 20, Kara said back, her voice tense but steady. Then dash click. Power surged across the station. Lights dimmed. The defense grid came online. Heavy turrets unfolded from hidden hatches on the outer ring tur. Kara sent the signal. Outside, as the unknown ship prepared to fire, Station Halcyon responded first. The defensive turrets released a full energy pulse not to destroy, but to disable. The ship shook. Its engines flickered. Slowly its weapons powered down. Cheers rose across the control deck. We did it, Alex said. Panting, Kara smiled, but her eyes stayed on the screen. We sent them a message. Later that night, the unknown ship was taken into custody. The crew, mostly mercenaries, admitted they had been paid by a group trying to stop unity. Between humans and Zelari, their mission had failed. Kara and Alex stood once more by the observation deck. We didn't just fix wires today, Alex said. No, she whispered. We proved love can defend too. And this time, as they stood under the stars, they weren't just a technician and a diplomat's daughter. They were something the galaxy hadn't seen before, proof that hearts, no matter how different, could fight side by side. After the unknown ship was taken into custody, peace returned to Station Halcyon. But the peace felt different, now stronger, earned. No one looked at Alex and Kara the same way anymore. The way they had stood together, faced danger together, had changed people's opinions. Even those who had doubted them began to nod politely when they passed. Others gave quiet smiles, some even saying, "We're glad you two made it." The station held a small ceremony in the central hall, not to honor war, but to celebrate unity. Commander Thalix gave a speech about courage. about how bonds formed between species could become a new kind of strength then. To everyone's surprise, he called Alex and Kara to the front. These two didn't just protect this station, Alex said. They showed us what it means to truly understand someone, not through shared blood, but through shared heart. People clapped. Even some of the council members stood. Varys didn't clap, but he gave a small, respectful nod. It was the closest thing to approval he would ever give. Alex felt overwhelmed, wasn't used to being the center of attention. He looked at Kara. She was calm, as always, standing tall beside him. After the ceremony, they escaped to the garden. Dome. It had become their quiet place, away from blinking lights and heavy voices. They sat on the soft grass again, under the blue light tree. "You looked beautiful up there," Alex said. Kara smiled. "You look nervous." "Always do," he said. "Except when I'm with you." She turned toward him. "Do you remember the first thing you ever said to me?" He laughed. "Yeah. I think I said, I thought the vent would be wider." "No," she said before that. "When you fell into my quarters, hit your head, and said, sorry, didn't mean to break your light?" Alex chuckled. "Oh, right. Very smooth introduction. And I remember thinking this human is clumsy, but interesting." They both laughed softly. "I never thought it would go this far," Alex admitted. "Me neither," Kara said. "But I hoped." "Do you still hope?" he asked. She looked at him seriously. "I hope for more." "Like what?" "Like a future." Alex went quiet. The word felt big. Important, but not scary. Not when she said it. "What does a future look like for us?" he asked. "It could mean living on Earth someday, or building a home here. It could mean working together, speaking for those who are afraid to love someone different. Maybe even helping other people like us." "Like us?" he asked. "Yes," she said. "People who don't fit into one world, but want to build a bridge between two." He thought for a moment, then said, "Can we really do that?" She leaned in close. "We already did." After that evening, things moved quickly. A new program was created aboard Station Halcyon. It was designed to support cultural relationships and teach communication between species, not just language, but emotions, gestures, even small habits that caused confusion. Kara became one of the lead guides. She taught classes filled with humans, Zalari, and many others. She explained how love wasn't the same for everyone. But the feeling behind it was, Alex used his tech skills to help design virtual scenarios where beings from different species could learn to work and talk better together. His simulations showed how empathy could be practiced, not just felt. Soon, other couples came forward. Not just romantic ones, friendships, bonds, teammates. People who had been quiet for years now stood proudly. Months passed. Alex and Kara grew closer, not just as a couple, but as partners in something greater. They visited new worlds together, attended conferences, and even gave talks to young cadets about trust and courage. On one visit to Earth, Alex took her to a place he always dreamed of, Sharinga Green Hill, under a wide, cloudy sky. They sat on a wooden bench, the air cool and gentle. "Is this real rain?" she asked, reaching her hand out. Drops fell gently on her skin. She blinked, surprised. "This is rain," Alex said. "Real, fresh, skyborn rain." Kara tilted her face up and closed her eyes. The water ran down her cheeks, mixing with a soft smile. "Now I understand," she whispered. "This feeling. It's like love." He looked at her, heart full. "You're not wrong." After the rain passed, they walked along the path, hands held, steps quiet. Kara suddenly stopped and turned toward him. "You remember when you finally told me how you felt?" she asked. "Of course," he said. "Fine. Thought it was my last moment." "It wasn't," she said softly. "It was our first." He looked at her, surprised. "First?" "Yes. The first time you spoke with no fear. The first time I could answer." Then, without needing anything more, she took a small band from her pocket. It shimmered with soft green light, a symbol of bonding from her people. She handed it to him. Alex blinked. "Is this what I think it is?" "Yes," she said. I thought Zalari always had to be the one to say it first, he joked. She laughed. We change old rules, remember? He slipped the band onto his wrist. Then I guess it's my turn. From his jacket, he pulled a small silver ring. Simple, human-made. No symbols, just meaning. He placed it gently on her finger. They didn't need a crowd. No speeches, no music. Just the sky, the hill, and each other. And in that quiet space, two souls different in form but equal in heart began a future no one had seen coming.